Hello, everybody. Welcome to more Political Excess. With just over 1 week to go, it's time for another weekly poll recap. So let's get on Real Clear Politics and take a look at the polls. I'll try to move a little quicker through here so we can get through a bunch of these. The U.S. Senate in Washington, Trafalgar's got a poll out that has Patty Murray up only 1 point, 49 to 48 over Tiffany Smiley. And there's another poll for Washington from KHQ-TV that has a smaller sample size than the Trafalgar poll, but that has Patty Murray up 6, 51 to 45. This race does actually appear to be narrower than previous margins for Patty Murray. I don't think it's going to flip, but now it does seem like it certainly could be under 10 points. Missouri Senate, we have Derek Schmidt up 9 points, 51 to 42 over Trudy Bush Valentine. That seems reasonable enough to me. Next up from Signal, we've got U.S. Senate in Ohio. That has J.D. Vance up 5 points, 48 to 43 over Tim Ryan. Mike DeWine, he's up massive 21 points, 56 to 35 over Nan Whaley. Next up in Connecticut, we've got some congressional districts. In the 2nd District, Joe Courtney has a colossal lead, 19 points, 55 to 36 over Mike France. But in the 5th District, it's tied between Johanna Hayes and George Logan at 45 apiece. Republicans' best bet to flip the district is that 5th District. It looked like there's a chance they could have been competitive in that 2nd District also, but this poll here makes it look completely out of reach. Back on Friday, U.S. Senate in Georgia from Insider Advantage. With 550 likely voters, Herschel Walker's up 3 points, 48 to 45 over Raphael Warnock. For Governor, Brian Kemp is up 9, 52 to 43 over Stacey Abrams. And we've got an updated poll for New York Governor from The Hill and Emerson. Kathy Hochul is leading 8 points, 52 to 44 over Lee Zeldin. In that U.S. Senate race, Schumer is up 13, 53 to 40 over Joe Pinion. And we've got a new Michigan governor's poll. Gretchen Whitmer is up 7 points, 51 to 44 over Tudor Dixon. And how about Massachusetts governor? Maura Healey is up 28, 61 to 33 over Jeff Deal. That is definitely going to be a blowout for Maura Healey there. Back on Thursday, we've got a U.S. Senate poll for Pennsylvania from Insider Advantage. And now we're actually seeing Dr. Oz ahead 3 points, 48 to 45 over John Fetterman. This is a post-debate poll, and as expected, John Fetterman has slipped by a couple of points. In that governor's race in Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro is up 8, 50 to 42 over Doug Mastriano. That race appears to mostly be going for Mastriano. There's still a week to go, and there could be a shy Mastriano vote out there that makes it close, but Shapiro does have the advantage. And we got some polls from Rasmussen in Georgia's Senate and Governor. Herschel Walker's up 5 points there, 48 to 43. And for the governor's race, Brian Kemp is in double digits, 10-point lead, 51 to 41 over Stacey Abrams. Next up for Nevada Senate and Governor, Trafalgar has Adam Laxalt with a 4-point lead, 50 to 46 over Catherine Cortez Masto. And Joe Lombardo, he's up 7 points. That's a lot, 51 to 44 over Steve Sisolak. It's Trafalgar, might have a little bit of a right-leaning bias, but that 7-point lead for Lombardo, that is pretty substantial. And Trafalgar also did the Oregon governor's race that has Christine Drazan up 2 points, 42 to 40 over Tina Kotek. Betsy Johnson is at 13 in that race, so Betsy Johnson is kind of fizzling out here, but it's still neck and neck between Drazan and Kotek. California Governor Newsom is up 19 points, 55 to 36 over Brian Dahle. And there's that Maryland governor's poll. Wes Moore is up 31, 58 to 27 over Dan Cox. How about Kansas's 3rd congressional district? Sharice Davids is up 14 points, 55 to 41 over Amanda Adkins. That poll is from New York Times, and Siena had 431 likely voters. I wouldn't be surprised if Sharice Davids held on and won, but that 14-point margin seems like a complete outlier. In Nevada's 1st district, it's tied at 47 apiece between Dina Titus and Mark Robertson. In New Mexico's 2nd district, Gabe Vasquez has a 1-point advantage over Yvette Harrell, 48 to 47. And in Pennsylvania's 8th, Matt Cartwright is up 6 points, 50 to 44 over Jim Bognet. And another House race in Connecticut's 5th has George Logan up 1 point, 48 to 47 over Johanna Hayes. So a lot of those seats are up for grabs. But let's go down here to Wednesday, and we've got some insider advantage polls for Arizona Governor and Senate. Kari Lake is up double digits, 11 points, 54 to 43 over Katie Hobbs. And in the U.S. Senate, Mark Kelly is only up 2, 45 to 43 over Blake Masters. And Data for Progress also polled these races, and it has Kari Lake up 4 points, 50 to 46. And in the U.S. Senate, it's a tied race, 47 apiece. So for governor, it does appear that Kari Lake has opened up a consistent lead. And the U.S. Senate race, it's basically a coin flip at this point. It's all going to come down to this final week. Florida, U.S. Senate, and governor, we've got two polls. Marco Rubio is up 51 to 44 over Val Demings, and in the University of North Florida poll, he's up 54 to 43. And for governor, the Data for Progress poll has Ron DeSantis up 12 points, 54 to 42. And the University of North Florida poll has him up 55 to 41. These Florida races have really moved completely off the table for the Democrats, and we're looking at almost landslide type of margins for Senate and governor. Next up, Data for Progress also did Wisconsin Senate and governor. These are with 1,376 likely voters. Ron Johnson is up 5 points, 51 to 46 over Mandela Barnes, and for governor, Tim Michels is up 1 point, 49 to 48 over Tony Evers. That Wisconsin governor's race is extremely close. We'll see if Tim Michels actually does pull out a lead here in the final week. And Nevada Senate and governor again, Adam Laxalt has a 1 point lead, and Joe Lombardo has a 1 point lead. So those show a much tighter race than the other polls, but it does show the Republicans with a slight advantage. How about the North Carolina U.S. Senate race? Well, Ted Budd has a 4 point lead, 49 to 45 over Sherry Beasley in that poll from Marist. In the U.S. Senate race for New Hampshire, Maggie Hassan is up 6 points, 50 to 44 over Don Bolduc. Chris Sununu, he's up comfortably, 13 points, 53 to 40 over Tom Sherman. Another Pennsylvania governor poll, Josh Shapiro is up 9, 54 to 45 over Doug Mastriano. And we got a Texas governor's poll from Univision and Shaw and Company. That is a much narrower race for Greg Abbott. He's only up 4 points, 46 to 42. U.S. Senate in Connecticut, Richard Blumenthal's up 13, 53 to 40 over Leora Levy, and for governor, Ned Lamont is up 11, 52 to 41 over Bob Stefanowski. And how about Illinois Senate? Tammy Duckworth is up 10 points, 49 to 39 over Kathy Salvi, and for governor, J.B. Pritzker is up 9 points, 50 to 41 over Darren Bailey. Both of those races might be narrowing up to under double digits here in the home stretch. But let's go on to South Dakota governor. That has Kristi Noem up really huge. 19 points, 56 to 37 over Jamie Smith. So what once might have been a narrowing South Dakota governor's race, this shows that is not the case at all. I would be surprised if Kristi Noem won by 19 points. But even though there's not many polls for South Dakota, but this poll probably burst Democrats' bubble on actually making this a truly competitive race. North Carolina 13th District, Wiley Nichols up 1 point, 44 to 43 over Bo Hines. And back on Tuesday, I'll just quickly gloss over some of these. But more polls for Georgia, and it shows a back-and-forth race for U.S. Senate, while Brian Kemp maintains his mid-single-digit lead. John Fetterman has a 2-point lead in that U.S. Senate race over Dr. Oz. Maggie Hassan is only up 3 points, 48 to 45 over Don Bolduc. And here's an updated New Mexico governor's poll. It is from Trafalgar, but Mark Ronchetti is up 1 point, 47 to 46. Ted Budd has another 4-point lead in North Carolina, and in Nevada Senate and governor, this poll shows both Democrats with a 2-point lead from Univision and Shaw and Company again. I do encourage people to look at the crosstabs, the sample sizes, take a look at the demographic breakdown. Sometimes you can spot something obvious that they missed in these polls. If we go back before Tuesday, it's more the same stuff. These polls are slightly outdated at this point, but you definitely can take a look at these if you'd like. And then, of course, finally, we can get on 538 and isolate to just U.S. House races. Some of these were on Real Clear Politics, but there are some more that they did not put on there. A lot of these are internal polls from the campaigns, so they're not extremely valuable. But if you like more data, do take a look at these if you're interested. And that concludes another weekly poll recap. There's a couple of bright spots for Democrats, but mostly the momentum is with the Republicans in many of these competitive races. There's still time for something to happen at the end. I'll be getting my final predictions out over the next week. But let me know down below, do any of the polls this week change anything for you? And if you enjoy this channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video.